Hello guys and welcome for another Eternum video. We are close to mark 1 week into Season 8 and oh boy are we not having lots of fun. Some of the new perks are literally destroying everything that we knew so far about the meta, but mostly they are destroying the market with their insane price tag. The main reason for that is the chance of obtaining them, as they can be only acquired from aptitude boxes from the respective trade skills in weaponsmithing and armor crafting. But regardless of the prices and anything else in the current patch, let me show you a potential candidate for a possible new role in the PvP battlefield of Eternum. A name that was known in the PvE community as the Rend BOT, but here in the PvP one it would only keep the same name but not the same traditional weapons for that job. Today we are taking a closer look at the Flamethrower and the return of its former glory. Before going further with the build and the playstyle for it, I want to quickly remind you that you can subscribe to the channel for more New World Eternum content. If you are enjoying the builds or you have something to share and discuss, you can always become part of our Discord community. All that is free, but you can help us to grow even bigger and your help will mean a lot, so thank you for that. Okay, time to roll. The playstyle of the Flamethrower Rend BOT is quite interesting and you can have a huge impact if you play it in a proper way. In order to explain the efficiency of it, I have to mention two core things. The first one is the Void Gauntlet artifact called Lifetaker, which will be your secondary weapon, and then the new perk called Sundering Stacks, which will increase the rending of your build. For those of you who don't know, the Lifetaker artifact provides a passive debuff called Disintegrate that will strip away 10% of the enemy's armor, and this effect can stack up to 3 times. According to the description of the weapon, those stacks are applied by your ranged attacks, and after some testing I saw that Flamethrower is considered as ranged attack. This means that just by having the Lifetaker as your secondary weapon SWAT, you can apply 3 stacks of Disintegrate for a total of 30% rend. This also happens relatively quickly, or specifically for 1.5 seconds, as there is no internal cooldown for the passive and the Flamethrower hits every 0.5 seconds. Now of course that's not all, because now we proceed further with the Sundering Stacks perk, which can be applied on the weapon of choice. In this setup we want to have it on our Fire Staff, so each hit will apply a 4% rend for a maximum of 5 stacks, or in other words, additional 20% rend. As we need to make 5 stacks to gain the maximum, in terms of time this would cost us 2.5 seconds with the Flamethrower. And again, the Flamethrower is hitting every 0.5 seconds. This is how only with those 2 perks you can reach a 50% rend on all the enemies in front of you in a range of 6 meters, as this is the maximum range of the Flamethrower. Now when we know the basics of the build and the core reason for using it, let's build all the bits and pieces for it and let's see how we can make it stronger. Starting with the armor, I believe that going for medium equip load must be the best choice. As you will be in close proximity from all the clumps and fights, I think that medium will suit you the best. Of course, making the gear into heavy will still apply the same rend values, so you can definitely go for that, but after all we all like to see some extra damage and some bigger numbers. The first and most important piece of the armor puzzle are the Azot Conductor pants. You already know that they give 15% elemental damage in medium gear, so this one is no brainer. For last perk you can choose between Enchanted Ward or Shirking Heels. The second really important piece are the named boots, which are obtained from the worm called Sandlion Tarsus. Those will come with freedom and keen speed, and then again you can choose between Enchanted Ward or Shirking Heels. A small note here is that I always prefer to go with 4 Enchanted Wards and 4 Shirking Heels, instead of going in a ratio of 5:3 in any of the combinations. Now that you have the 2 core armor pieces, you need to get yourself the remaining 3. For them you would need a light headpiece, light gloves, and then a heavy chest piece. For the head and the gloves, I would prioritize Enchanted Ward and Shirking Heels, and in one of the two I would slot Flamethrower perk. The other open slot for perk can be used by conditioning, or you can put something for your Void Gauntlet, like the Scream for example. Then, when it comes to the chest piece, we have something new, and that's one of the new perks of course, which is called Vital Synergy. This means that additionally to the Enchanted Ward and Shirking Heals on our chest, we really want to get this Vital Synergy perk, as it will give us a 20% increased healing effects whenever we drop down under 50% stamina. This would be extremely valuable for your survivability, as you will be having quite a lot of heals. For all the armor pieces, you can definitely go with normal gems, but if you really want to gain a little bit of extra damage, you can then go for ignited gems, which will provide you with 10% fire in power. On our next step, we will be looking at the weapons, and here we will not really waste too much time. As we mentioned already, you need the Life Taker as your offhand, and of course you can choose a last perk. My personal choice here is Tether, as it can give me the nice chase potential, especially when I hit some healers, as I can slow them heavily. Of course, you can also go with Scream, which will give you a nice boost into the anti-healing to the enemies. For the Playmaker Fire Staff, you want to have 3 specific perks to maximize your potential. The first one we already discussed, and this will be the Sundering Rend. And for the second, you want to get the Old But Gold Alacritus Punishment, as this one will give you a huge boost of damage for all the hasted enemies. For your third choice, you have 2 different options, and again, it's up to you and your playstyle to decide which one is better. Those 2 perks are Plague Crits for additional anti-heals, and of course Penetrating the Empower for additional damage. Both will provide a really nice value, but again, it's only a matter of personal choice, so you can decide which one will suit you best. As you cannot place any gem on your Void Gauntlet, you want to have a Runeglass Jasper on your Fire Staff. This will give you a nice boost of Empower, and since you are playing close to the clumps, your uptime should be close to 24/7. Our next stop are the jewelry pieces, and here there are not many surprises. For Amulet, I suggest you to go with Ankh, as it will boost all of the Shirking Heals effects, and additionally, you will be able to receive a lot of healings from the nearby Bruisers and also the Sacred Grounds. Additionally, your new perk on the chest piece, Vital Synergy, will multiply the effect even further with the 20% extra healing effects whenever you drop under 50% stamina. For last perk on your Amulet, I would suggest you to pick between a type of protection, such as Slash or Flame, or just by going with even more aggressive approach, choosing Shirking Empower. For the ring, there could be a small debate about the last perk, but your 2 core ones are definitely Hearty and Healing Breeze. Then, as I said, for third, you need to choose between Keen Awareness or Fire Damage. The Keen perk will basically give you chance of critical hits more often, which will translate into better mana management, and of course, Keen Speed from your boots will give you more movement speed. While having fire damage will technically mean that you have flat 8% of Empower at all times. I personally think that the Keen perk is the better one here, simply because it will provide you with better utility in the long run. Last but not least, for the earring in this build, I prefer to go with Refreshing Toast, Fortifying Toast and Healthy Toast. Even if you cannot get those 3 exact perks, I would prioritize the Healthy Toast, as we are leaning heavily towards the Shirking Heal and Ankh combination. The Heart Rune of choice should be Stoneform, as otherwise with any other one, you will be risking way too much to be staggered. Also with Stoneform, you can just press W key on low HP targets without the need of you stopping or dodging enemy crowd controls and staggers. And with all that, I think we got to the end of the build. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will wait for your feedback for the power of this Rend BOT playstyle. If you wish to know more and become part of our community, make sure to check the description for additional information. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.